Good day and welcome to Why Implement Oracle's OFMA with HFM webinar, or Turbocharge HFM to meet your organization's expanding reporting and analytical needs. Today's webinar is hosted by the Clearline Group. Before we get started, I'd like to go over some housekeeping issues here. We have approximately 60 minutes blocked out for this webinar, so we should have plenty of time for question and answers at the end. During the webinar, everybody's going to be on mute, but we welcome questions. So during the webinar, on your webinar console screen, on the bottom right side, you should see a question/chat box. Feel free to type in any questions you want during the webinar. You can send them directly to the staff, or there's actually a drop-down also to send questions to the staff. At the end of the presentation, we'll unmute everybody so you can ask live questions. And we'll be recording this webinar for future playback on Clearline's website, www.clearlinegroup.com, so you can review or forward to your colleagues. With that, let me briefly go through the agenda. We're going to do some introductions here in a second, and then I'm going to walk you through the business cycle that many organizations face. And then I'm going to turn it over to Dave Zaranin here, and he's going to take you through that business cycle more specifically for finance. We're going to give you an overview of Oracle's HFM, or Hyperion Financial Management, and then Oracle's OFMA, or Oracle's Financial Management Analytics. We're going to provide you a demonstration of OFMA, talk about some next steps, and then hopefully be able to answer all your questions here at the end. So with that, let me jump into some introductions here. My name is John Schmidt. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at Clearline. I run our business intelligence practice. I've been doing this for more than 20 years in technology sales, and I actually started off as a pre-sales engineer. I've worked at organizations such as Hyperion, Siebel, NCR, and Teradata. I have a pretty broad BI technology background. For the majority of the presentation, I'll introduce you to Dave Zaranin here in a couple minutes. He's our practice lead for Clearline's Hyperion Financial Management practice. He's got 20 years plus experience in enterprise performance management, and what's unique with Dave and a lot of the consultants here at Clearline Group is Dave's worked on all three sides of the customer. From the corporate perspective, he's also worked as a consultant, and he's also worked on the vendor side as well. So he's got a very broad background and understanding from all three sides. Very well versed in technology and worked in majority of the industries out there today. So also joining us on the call at the end for some question and answer is David Abitangelo. David's our practice lead here at Clearline Group for our business intelligence practice. Been doing it for more than 15 years, much so as Dave Zaranin. Dave Abitangelo has also been in all three sides of the customer. Very well versed in the whole data warehousing stack, including Oracle's OBIES base, BO, and some other technologies as well. Same thing as Dave Zaranin, worked in a lot of industries out there. So today's webinar is actually hosted by the Clearline Group. A brief background on the Clearline Group: we're a boutique consulting firm headquartered in Chicagoland area. We've been doing Oracle Hyperion Enterprise Performance Management and Business Intelligence for quite a while now. We have a broad base of experts here on staff, and we're an Oracle Gold partner, and our core team has been together for more than 12 years. And kind of what I alluded to before with Dave and Dave is, we have a nice background of industry and consulting expertise, and we have a breadth of skills, a full service provider from all the way from advisory, executing executive visioning, and project management skills. And also we'll talk a little bit about our implementation capabilities as well. Our mantra here is pretty simple at Clearline Group: if our clients are successful, we're successful. So we're all full-time employees, have a vested interest here in making sure that our clients are a success. With that, I'm going to transition and talk a little bit about the business cycle and some of the challenges that organizations face within the business cycle. And if you think about it, the business cycle applies to your organization across the entire organization, and as well as at the department level. One of the key activities of a company is to constantly assess and revise their strategy. This includes identifying key strategic goals, like expanding customers or becoming more operationally efficient and reducing costs. Tied to this might be more specific initiatives such as developing new products or perhaps reducing inventory. Once the strategy and plan are developed, it then needs to be pushed down and throughout the entire organization. The key initiatives have to get translated into more detailed plans for the affected functional areas. These can include, product development plans, marketing plans, and sales plans. And this is kind of where the rubber meets the road in execution. And people in the field often need more detailed information so they can actually manage to their plan or to these plans. Sales managers, for example, myself included, might need insight into the sales pipeline and marketing campaigns. Distribution managers might need insight into the sales pipeline and inventory, specifically, if they're trying to reduce inventory. This is a continual process that requires refinement along the way, and the assess step enables us to adapt our plan based on progress to date. This takes many forms, from standard reporting that tells me how I'm doing individually, as well as how I might compare to my peers. Assess also entails things like data exploration to help me identify areas of additional opportunities. It all sounds like motherhood and apple pie, but the key is there's a lot of challenges when we're trying to implement or deploy this business cycle, many of which are related to the availability of, the accuracy of, and the ability to navigate the data within our functional area throughout the entire organization. These manifest themselves as a lack of linkage between strategy and execution, between higher level plans and lower level plans. And the execution is hindered by the ability of people in the field to get the level of detailed information required to make decisions on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis that impact their ability to meet these goals. The other challenge in linking strategic goals at a high level to the lower level goals. How do we tie metrics people can influence to the relative strategic goals and vice versa? How do we measure these goals that often cross data sets and systems? Finally, how do we make this information available to a broad set of users with different needs, from ad hoc data exploration to interactive reporting, which we'll talk a little bit about today, and to batch reporting. These are all challenges that most organizations face across all functional areas. But more specifically, let's discuss why we're here on this webinar today is, how do these challenges impact the finance organization? And this is a perfect opportunity to introduce you to Dave Zaranin here, and Dave is going to kind of walk you through more of the finance challenges in this business cycle.
Thanks, John. Yeah. So let me. So besides the traditional statutory management reporting, the financial organization has really become like the nucleus or the center of internal, external requests, right? So they need to support, plan, and assess that whole business model. A lot of the demands are complex, and executives today are getting a lot of requests from a lot of different areas. So some of the things that executives want, they want timely access to the financial data. A lot of you folks here on the call today have dealt with HFM. So what that relates to is talking about the close cycle. How do we reduce the close cycle? How many days does it take to close, and what can we do in our consolidation process to speed things up, and so on. And then once they, besides the financial data, once they have the data, nowadays everyone wants graphical presentations. They want nice pie charts, different colors, some graphs that identify the trend and the issues. And then once they have all this, then how do we quickly assess the information out to the folks out there in the field, and to the folks that actually need that information. And then, how do we send notifications? We have email alerts and whatnot in HFM, so we can, send some notices when, we have variances and deviations. So all this, executives keep wanting more and more and more as we get into this business cycle, and as they, they plan, they execute, and they assess their business model. And so the finance area is also getting hit by a lot of other areas, sales, product, and marketing. So with that being said, it's not just, Clearline or us, a handful of consultants. I mean, here's some information provided by the Association of Accountants and Financial Professionals in one of their articles. And I mean, and all this stuff is very, very familiar. So if anyone that has worked with me on the implementation out there, I mean, how many times do we hear we need to improve efficiency and effectiveness, for the management reporting cycle? And if you notice the bullet points under there, all of those hit home, just what we talked about. Shorten the close cycle, give me cash flow reporting, give me the information very quickly. And then the other key point is streamline processes, improve productivity. How do I do things better, faster, and efficiently? And then they want, then once we start giving them the information, the next thing they roll into is, they want, achieve real-time visibility across the organization. So, in other words, not just the income statement, traditional balance sheet, cash flow, but give me more. What's making up those numbers? Why is revenue changing? What information do you need? Oh, I need to know, that's a sales number and it came from this. So there's more and more demands are put on the CFO organization. So what I'd like to do now is give you a little bit of background on HFM and then OFMA, and then I'll get into the demo here in a minute. So we're getting close. So as most of you know, HFM is a purpose-built consolidation financial reporting machine, I guess we'll call it. What it's really good at is foreign currency translations, intercompany eliminations. It handles the journal entries. So, and then within HFM, it has the smart dimensionalities. It has the hierarchies. We have the audit trails. We have the reporting and analysis. It has a lot to offer. So it's a tool in helping to, in the financial organization to help shorten the close cycle and to help make things more and more efficient. However, HFM has a lot, but executives want more, right? So, again, they want more data. We give them data, they want more data. We show them, a graph in an Excel worksheet, they want more graphs. They want different colors. I mean, they want trends. It's just, again, more. So the good news is HFM is evolving, right? So HFM is an extendable open platform that Oracle keeps transforming. And then through OFMA, we're going to show you how a lot of these demands can be met. Let me just talk about the financial close process real quick. We have all these, I'll say, purpose-built modules here, in this, with Oracle. We have the consolidation module, the tax module, the financial and reporting management, disclosure management, taxes, and so on. We have the Oracle financial close management, which handles the schedules. But really the key point of this slide is I want you to look at the very top. I mean, this is the exciting piece. We actually have from the transactions, we could drill all the way into the reporting, we have this thing called OFMA that sits up there, and it's a bunch of pre-built dashboards that link directly into HFM. So it's a one-stop shop. So let me talk about OFMA, what does it do? What does it provide? I mean, it provides, the financial results and the close process. I mean, so it leverages your Hyperion investment. So it's a direct feed right from HFM into OFMA. It's easy to deploy. It has all these pre-built reports and graphs and trends. I mean, and I'll show you the variance reports as well. So, and it's very quick and easy to deploy. Some of the other things, one of the cool features on here is it enables the mobile delivery. So we'll be able to have dashboards. I mean, you'll be able to have dashboards show up on your mobile device or your iPad. I mean, so then the executive doesn't have to be sitting at his desk in order to get this information. So it's a very, very powerful tool. And the key feature here is, I just want to point this out. It says the single source of truth is OFMA is a live feed right from HFM. So that's the key piece. There's no other hidden database. It's a live feed right from HFM and the OFMA, and then it uses and utilizes the HFM hierarchies, the data security. It's so whatever security you have in HFM, it's a single sign-on. You sign on, and you have access to that information.
And as Dave had kind of mentioned earlier, it's built on Oracle's, industry-leading enterprise platform for business intelligence, or OBIEE. And OBIEE provides you the ability to build custom analytical applications, or as Oracle's also done, is delivered out-of-the-box functionality and packaged applications, one of which we're talking about today is OFMA. So some of the challenges that Dave talked about earlier in the finance organization, where not just within the finance organization, they're getting questions outside from sales, marketing, operations. By building or leveraging OBIE, OFMA also gives you the ability to extend to other functional areas within the organization.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over, and then we're going to start the OFMA demo. So give me 1 second. What I'd like to do is give you a quick what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to play the role of a financial executive. So what we're going to see is we're going to see the executive dashboards. You're going to see all the dashboards actually, but I'm going to play the role of an executive, and then what I would see and what I would do. And I'm going to walk you through the different functions and pre-built dashboards that are out there. So that's what we're going to go. So while I'm typing away here and loading up the screens, let me just give you guys a little bit of a background. There's a configuration utility that you run, and it basically links the metadata. I mean, it sounds simple, and it actually is very simple. It links the data from the HFM database to the OFMA screens here. These are all called templates and reports. So this is what you get when you log into OFMA. You come right to the executive dashboard, okay? And now let me take a moment and orient you with the screen here. So we have 4 different reports or graphs on the screen, and then over here on the left side we have our point of view selector. So this is very familiar to all the HFM folks out there, and really any of the Hyperion users. But what you notice is we don't have 12 points of view. So just the key items that are needed, and then these key items are the point of view are shared amongst the other dashboards. So we set our scenario to actual, our year to 2012, and I'm currently looking at June. The other thing that I want to point out that uses the intelligence of HFM is you notice your scenario view, your periodic, year-to-date, and quarter-to-date. So we can look at any one of these reports or graphs in any view that we have set up in HFM. Okay, so now let's go over here and look at the gross profit graph or report here. So basically what this is set up, I have a gross profit set up by region. Okay, and so you have the regions in the columns over here, and then the numbers are here. And then also I'm using the Oracle HFM application, so then it's also then broken up by product, where you see plasma, TV, and protection, and so on. And now if a screen gets too, I'll say, hard to see, what we can do is we have OBIE functions that we can easy to use. So that we have this full screen view down here. So what I can do is click on the gross profit by region, and we can view this in full screen mode. And then what I'll do is I'll be able to drill in. We'll drill into a couple of screens, and I'll be able to show you some more detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull gross profit again. Here we go. Now we're working. I don't know, had a blip there. And then let's say we want to drill down into Asia Pacific and look at their screen, look at their region and their details here. So we can definitely do that. And then everything is nicely color coordinated. So I just wanted to show that. So this is the full screen mode. Now the other cool feature in here, or a couple of features in here, is we can bookmark this to, so these are standard OBIE features that are all in here. And also we can export this to a PDF file, to Excel, to PowerPoint, so again, all standard features. So once you learn how to edit and modify these reports, similar to the report writer, the studio, then you'll be able to use this for everything. So what we'll do is we'll just return back to the main screen. So, and then also the gross profit, we can pick any one of the, we can look at this graph via, net revenue, so we can slice and dice the data based upon your picks that we set up when we configure the application. So again, here, just a handful of selections here for the executive that they can focus in on and then drill down. And they can drill down all the way to all the way to the base data if we want them to. So again, we can drill them down as far as they want to go. So the other on here is where we have gross profit indicators, again, by region, and then this one we just have, the Asia Pacific, so they can look at it in that form. We also have a net cash flow, so they can quickly look at this and say, hey, how are we doing for June 2012? How's my cash flow? And then we have, I have a net income trend here. So again, so this is the executive dashboard. The executive can come in here, use their mobile phone, whatever, and they can look at the information and then drill down. And then what you can also then do is you can collapse and just look at 2 graphs at a time, look at 4 graphs or reports. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the another dashboard, the performance indicator dashboard. Now, what this one is, we have here at the bottom, we have, or on the side here, 4 ratios currently set up. I set up the current ratio, the days in receivables, inventory turnover, and then just a quick ratio. So what we can do, again, so if we wanted to see this data for, I'll pick May, you just come in here, select May, we hit apply, and then now it's going to refresh the data with the the May information. Now this is looking at the current ratio, which is pretty flat, but if we looked at the days receivables, it gives you, again, a live graphic view. So again, we can see where our days were good, and then January we had a spike, and then so on. But again, we can, the key point here for the performance indicators, we can have you can have more than 4, but you pick and choose the ones that you want and you can set up for your company. So that's a quick view of the dashboard, and then again, you can change your scenario, year, point of view. All this is selectable. The next piece, I'm going to pick on the profit and loss. And what I'll show you here is this is similar to the executive dashboard, but however, this is, you can actually, the difference between the profit and loss is, I'm going to expand on the provision and taxes. You can build this to go all the way down if in your HFM application to your base account or your leaf account. So you can drill down as much or as little as you want to provide, because when you set up the configuration, you just tell it, at what account and at what level do you want to go down to. So it's really that simple. So then this is an example of your summary income statement. Then you have an income statement by trend. What this shows you is it builds from the last month. So we're currently in May. Here, I'll change this to June just for display purposes. It's going to pick up the select box momentarily. And then what it does is it builds it backwards. So every trend report that you'll see here in OFMA, they're all very similar. They go from let's say if we pick June, it's going, and we hit apply, and then what it does is it builds it. So the trend report over here, we'll notice in a second, will update to June, and then build backwards the last 12 months of data. And then again, any one of these reports we can then export out to Excel or PDF or whatever. So if you had to do further analysis of it, or if you wanted to capture a screenshot of it, you can. So the next thing that I want to show, as soon as this paints up, is the variance graphs and reports up here. So okay, so now it's June. So again, it has the, so up here we have a summary, we have a trend, And then now we have the variance analysis. So what this will show you is you can pick a three-way variance. You see we have actual 2012 to actual 2012, which is not showing a variance. But what I can do is instead of 2012, let's change this to 2011. Here we go. And then 2011. And then I'll just leave it at that for now. And then you can also pick, so if you wanted to then to compare that or do a variance against plan or budget or forecast, whatever information you have set up, it will do that for you. All right. I'm just trying to think of anything else to show you here on this screen. So basically, what the profit and loss is, so it's there we go. It's building the so it's showing you the graphics. And we're picked on net income, but I can pick any account that we set up on here, so provision for tax, and then we can also graph the variance based off of the variance analysis. So there's a lot of capability here that you can see. Now the gross profit dashboard is very similar to the profit and loss dashboard with more details, and it's just taking a second to paint up. So the gross profit, the balance sheet, and cash flow, those are basically similar to the executive dashboard, but they're more detailed. So what you can do when you do the configuration, again, you configure on how many detail accounts do you want to have. So again, what do they have? They kind of have, they'll have a growth, they'll have a, we got our gross profit, and here we have a nice graph here, and then we have our trend analysis, and then if you notice down here we have a variance. And again, the variance is a three-way analysis, so you can do any combinations thereof of what you want. And then if the report gets too big, again, you have your full screen mode, and you can look at things in full screen. What I'll do is I'll just you can expand on any one of these accounts. I'm just going to click on the gross revenue here, and it's opening up. It'll just take a second. Okay. Okay, so the point is it's just an expansion of whatever accounts we select and add. All the graphs, the variance reports, they're all built up. So, and I'll give you a quick sample of the balance sheet. Again, similar layout. We have a consolidation balance sheet, and what this is doing is it's showing you, by the region. So we have North America, USA, Canada, and Mexico. And with the balance sheet, and then we can expand each account. And then also over here, this was kind of interesting. You can set up whatever balance sheet metrics you want to capture and look at, like days in payables or days in receivables or fixed assets, inventory turns, working capital, and then we can set that up over here in this section here. Usually I picked on the one case about 10 items, and that was probably too many for the display. So you probably want to pick, between 5 and 6 items are probably the ideal number to key in and focus on. And then also on the bottom here we have our balance sheet trend report. So that shows you again the last 12 months from June. It's using the same point of view that we had default from before. And then also here on the bottom, we have our variance report, and again, we can set it up to pull. I'll do a variance between 2011, and it would update the graph to do that. So you'll see that a lot of these dashboards are very similar, and so once you get to use them and you learn one, and you're very familiar with the other ones. So let me move on. I'm going to quickly show you the cash flow. And again, this is a good build-off. A lot of the folks, a lot of the HFM customers that I have, we have cash flow statements, and again, this builds nicely right into that. So as long as the metadata and the data is set up in the order that we want, this is a super simple, easy thing to build. Basically, we just pull the accounts, and then the report is here and works for you. Like if we wanted to, open up net cash from operations, we can do that. Cash from current operations and so on. So again, the same concept as in the other ones. I just wanted to show you that. And then here on the consolidating cash flow, again, we can put whatever accounts we want down the side, and then show that. And then what this is doing is it's just, again, splitting it out by region. So, North America, U.S., Canada, and Mexico. And then again, on the bottom, what we have is whatever we have in our cash flow variance report, it will build the graphs for it. Now you notice July it drops off because I didn't load any data past July, so that's why that's there. I want to talk a little bit about the currency analysis, because now this one is this is where we want to compare account to account, but what we want to do is take out the currency fluctuation in the account. So in HFM, I know there's a couple of ways to do this. We can set, some folks will have scenarios set up to hold the currency, actual at last year's rates, or actual at budget, or actual at plan. And other people will use a custom dimension. The nice thing about OFMA, both ways work. We can link it up, and depending on how you set this up, this works very nice. For example, here, we'll just play with a few numbers. I'm going to change my scenario to plan, and then I'm going to change instead of plan at constant rate, I'm going to leave plan at none. So basically what I'm saying is, give me the plan at the plan rate. And then for scenario 2, I'm going to say, I'm going to leave actual alone, but I'm going to say, give me actual at the plan rate. So what this would do would, it's going to, and then I hit apply, sorry. And then what this will do is it's going to go through and then update the graph to actual at plan rates. Now, I don't remember what plan rates I put in there, but we'll see what information we have. So there it goes. It's pulling it up right now. So basically there is a little bit of data in there. So net income, I do have some numbers. But anyway, so the point of view or the point of this is we can look at the data, we can set whatever accounts we want. So we can look at the net income numbers, which we have up here, and we can take out the currency fluctuation on that, and then look at a P&L at a constant rate. And the same thing with the balance sheet. So we have the same thing with the balance sheet and cash flow down here at the bottom. All right, the other thing I want to look at with you guys and give you an overview is the process management. Now this is a cool screen for the folks that have implemented process management. It uses the conditional formatting. So if you notice, it has the green flag, the red flag, and the yellow flag. Based on the close days, and this is something that you just set up in the parameters. From 1 to 3 days or 5 days. I think I set this up from 1 to 3 days. I'm okay, and then from 3 to 5 or 8 days, then we'll make it. And anything over 8 days, we'll make it a red flag. So what it does is it gives you the average, the days from close to submit. We can look at that, and it tells you the maximum. We can look at it by region. We can also look at it from average days from close to approve. So how long does it take from the data when I get my data for the region to when it gets approved? So we can track that information. Now here I just loaded one period, so there's not a lot of information, but I did want to just show something. So here I'm looking from close to approve, and you notice it changed the day. So again, what this will do is this will focus in on who's our good region, who's the bad region, who do we need to pay attention to. And then on the back, these are all your statuses that you set up in process control that you are using. Is it started, first pass, review, all the way to approved and published. So it's a nice dashboard to quickly get the information, and then again you can change it from period to period. So this is June where I have things open. Now if we go look at May, May is done. So I'll have all my things closed here. So the next dashboard that I want to focus in on is the close schedule. Now we'll give it a second as it comes up. Now the financial close schedule actually reads the data from the financial close application. All right, so what it's doing is it's taking all your schedules and then showing them up here in the graphics. Now some of you folks out there that have HFM that are not using the close schedule or the process management information, that's okay. I mean, you don't have to link these schedules up there, and then these tabs we can either show them or not show them as if you're using them or not. So what is this showing you? So basically, for the folks that are familiar with this, you'll get it right away. So here's I had for June I had 94 different tasks out there. I have 40 pending, 18 closed, and 36 are still open. So and then we give it completion rate, which we're at 19%, and then my plan completion. And for this time, I was supposed to have everything done, but we purposely kept some stuff open for this. So the schedule of milestones, basically these are your major items that we have set up from the schedules, and they're listed here on the bottom. And then over here we have our scheduled roadblocks. Basically these are dependent tasks related to each one of the schedules. And again, it's very easy and similar to use, and then we can filter in, filter out on these rows depending on how many schedules that you have set up. And then another neat thing on the bottom is we have down here, they do the comparison. So what this allows us to do is if we have a similar schedule and we want to compare how we did our close schedule between May and June or whatever, we can do that. And we would just click here, and then it's going to go and then build the schedule. So there's there's a lot of cool features that are in this OFMA, and I just wanted to quickly brief you through each one of these tabs, and we'll move on from there. So this will conclude the actual demo of the OFMA. Now, one of the coolest things, I mean, I was taken back when I found this, is all the stuff that I just showed you can be viewed on a mobile access or an iPad. I mean, it's I was like, wow, that really does work. So I couldn't show you that. I mean, I can't walk around with an iPad and show each one of you out there, but it can be used on a mobile device. So the executive out there or whoever the person is using this can see these screens on their mobile device. And then again, if it's too small, we can use the zoom features and everything else.
So kind of if I can summarize what you just showed us through the demonstration and talking about OFMA and HFM is, OFMA allows you to help you close that plan, execute, assess cycle across the finance PEA model, plan, execute, assess model, but also, since it's built on OBI, allows you to extend it to sales, marketing, operations, anywhere within the organization here. So it addresses all those questions that HFM is extending to. The executives want timely access to financial data, since OFMA connects directly into the HFM database. You don't have to push it out to an Essbase cube or to a data mart first. You get real time. So when you're doing the process close stuff,
right,
you see real time what's going on, the graphical presentation. You did show some of the identifications of issues and trends and with some of the KPI stuff, but one thing we really didn't show or touch on too much was the proactive and pervasive notification of issues. You could actually have it proactively alert you if you're out of compliance on specific metrics that you set up within OFMA. The distributed access for information, so all those executives who came back from the holidays with their brand new iPad now can get this information on their iPad, and more importantly, the fast deployment of new analysis, because these are all pre-built, out-of-the-box dashboards. So, almost finishing up here. the next question is, what are the next steps, or what are the steps to success? A lot of people on the phone here have probably already put together financial strategies and objectives for their consolidation and close process, but looking at a strategy of implementing an OFMA within your organization, it's a good chance to go back and relook at that, and also extend it, start looking at what is your enterprise information and analytics delivery strategy, how does that fit in with the corporate strategy, and then always, what the finance organization is great at doing, map those against your best practices for close objectives, consolidation objectives, and then also enterprise analytics and delivery objectives. Go off and implement an enterprise platform to achieve the strategy. If you are using HFM, great choice. It is an enterprise and extensible platform. And then continually evolve as you deploy this. The nice thing about HFM with OFMA and OBI, so many more buzzwords I can throw out there, it allows you to evolve and grow as your organizations and needs grow. So we're a little biased here at Clearline Group. We'd highly recommend you would engage an experienced resource, even though OFMA is out of the box, prepackaged dashboards, and implements fairly rapidly. You got to look at it holistically, and people who have expertise in delivering combined solutions with HFM, OFMA, and OBIE, which we do. And at Clearline, we offer the advisory, the implementation, the project management, and the support services, basically from soup to nuts, and implementing these enterprise performance management and business intelligence solutions. So we'd like to think that Clearline Group is your clear choice for HFM and OFMA services.